Hello, I'm the Unscripted Gamer, and I would just like to talk to you for a moment about the current console wars, or the current console generation, if you will. And I just wanted to talk a little bit about why I feel it's kind of ridiculous to be a fanboy of one system, really, because I've just been thinking about it for a little while now, and I've discovered that there are problems with all of them, really. And for my part, I know that people who really know me would say that I'm somewhat of a PS3 fanboy, but really I'm not when I think about it, because, okay, let's start with the PS3, let's talk about that first, because although I prefer the PS3 as a platform, I just find that it has a lot of issues, though, that I really don't like. Let's start with the PlayStation Store, the PSN Store, whatever you want to call it. Especially in Europe, I do not like it. It has not nearly enough good games on it. It's generally used for downloadable content and packages for games you buy on discs, and that's fine, but I would like to see more really good games, and there are a few games there, of course, but it's generally just these small arcade-type games, and they might be fun for a while, but for me that's not really what I want. And of course, there's way too few retro games or older games from old previous systems. Of course, there's no PS2 games, because that hasn't been something they've worked on. I've heard rumors that that might be something that will come out eventually, but for now, there's nothing from the PS2 era, which I think is ridiculous. And as for PS1 games, you have a few of them, but not nearly enough. I mean, I think it's kind of ridiculous that just recently Final Fantasy VII was released, and Metal Gear Solid has just been released in America and is eventually coming to Europe now. Those sort of games should have been prioritized. They should have been something you would have wanted to release as fast as humanly possible, because you know that's going to sell big. So that's one issue. And on that subject, on the subject of previous games and all that, I hate the fact that they have removed the backwards compatibility. Now, for me personally, that's not an issue, because I have the 60GB of the European version of the PS3, which has backwards compatibility. But for someone who wants to buy a PS3 now, you're going to have to buy one without backwards compatibility, because they've removed it, and I just don't get why. I don't see any reason for removing that. That's one of the greatest features of it, really, because that means you can play really great PS2 games, really great PS1 games without having to buy another system. Yeah, it's really annoying. They shouldn't have removed that. Why? And as annoyed as I am with that, one of the biggest issues I have, one of the biggest things I don't like about the PS3 is probably PlayStation Home. I think that's the biggest load of crap to come out of the PlayStation 3 ever. And to come out of Sony ever, really. And it's fine if you like it, I don't care if you do or not. By all means, it's something that some people probably like a lot, but I just think it's ridiculous. What is it, really? It's a glorified meeting space, isn't it? And I don't see why you really need that, because if you want to meet gamers, go to a gaming convention of some sort, or find some gamers inside a game. I mean, and forgive me if I'm getting something wrong about PlayStation Home here, because I haven't been on PlayStation Home for a really long time, because I think it's ridiculous. But as far as I know anyway, what you're doing there, you go in, you create your avatar, and you can walk around and talk to people. And a lot of people in there, for some retarded reason, harass anyone who has a female avatar, which is just ridiculous. And apart from going around looking and talking to people, looking at people and talking to them, you can go to this movie theater and watch movie trailers, and I think a few game trailers, but of course you can't get them full screen because you're in a movie theater, so you have to have it boxed in, which is just completely ridiculous. Apart from that, you can play a few games. What kind of games? Chess and billiards and bowling. Something you could never play in real life, and it would definitely not be as fun in real life, really. I mean, what's the point of playing chess, billiards, and bowling in a game? I mean, that sort of thing I really want to play in real life. That's much more fun with real friends, not in a virtual world. And as if all that isn't ridiculous enough, why does everything have to cost money? You have to buy everything. I mean, clothes cost money, not just home money, real money. For those of you who don't know this, you have to spend real money to buy clothes for your avatar, to buy furniture for your home, to buy a TV, anything. And people actually spend money on this. Why? Why do you need this stuff? Wouldn't it be much better to buy a real TV? To buy some real clothes? Isn't it ridiculous to spend money on that for an avatar? Yeah, so I just don't like PlayStation Home. So as you can see, I have plenty of problems with the PlayStation 3. But for now, let's move on to the Xbox. Now I don't have an Xbox at the moment, so I don't know all that much about it, I have to admit. I might get some things wrong, but from what I see and from what I hear and all, there's plenty of issues with that too. And the biggest problem is just Microsoft. I'm sorry, I just don't like Microsoft as a company. I'm sorry, I just don't. I don't have anything against them personally or anything, I just don't like the company. And I really don't like these Xbox fanboys, because they're the biggest bunch of dicks you can find when in terms of in the gaming culture. If you breeze through a gaming forum or board or comment board somewhere or something, anyone who comes with the biggest dick commentaries, just the most retarded commentaries and the most outrageous behaviors, are usually Xbox fans. And I'm not saying that every Xbox fan is bad and everyone who has an Xbox is a dick, no. But in general, they're just douchebags. I don't like the fact that I feel they lie when they tell you that Xbox has so many exclusive titles. It just doesn't. I mean, there are some Xbox exclusive titles, yes, but apart from that, it's generally multi-platform games, or it's games that you can get on Xbox or PC. When you can get it on PC, it's not an Xbox exclusive, is it? I mean, yes, it's Microsoft exclusive, but it's not an Xbox exclusive, and for a lot of people, if you can get a game on PC in addition to Xbox, then it kind of makes more sense to buy it on PC. For me included, I mean, I don't really need to buy an Xbox because, yeah, I don't really need to, but I'm probably gonna have a PC my entire life because I feel like I need one. I need it for internet, I need it for work. So, because I was gonna have to have a PC, then I could just as well buy the game for that PC as long as the PC can run it, which it probably will. Although, I have to say, I am a console gamer, so I would prefer that game on the console, but yeah, I just feel like they kind of lie when they tell you that you have so many Xbox exclusives. And as I said, there are some Xbox exclusive titles, but for me, when a game is available on the Xbox and on the PC, it's not an Xbox exclusive, it's a Microsoft exclusive, if anything. As far as I know, you have to pay for the Xbox Live service, which I don't like. I mean, the Xbox Live is probably a very good service from everything I've heard. It's one of the best online services you can get for a gaming system now, but the fact you have to pay for it, I don't really like that. That's just another sign of Microsoft. Other than that, I don't really have any big issues with it. I mean, I'm not too fond of the controller, actually. It's okay, it works, but I think it's a bit too big or something. But then you have the Wii, which I also have, and when I think about it, I don't have too many issues with the Wii. Don't really like the new controllers. I mean, they work, but I think they're a bit too gimmicky, and I really don't like the waggle things when you have to do that in certain games. I don't like that you have not too much storage space, but apart from that, I don't really have any problems with it. I mean, the fact that it's not a full HD system like PS3 and Xbox isn't really an issue, because I really like the games. Not all of them, far from it. I think there are a few too many party/casual type games, but in general, I really like the games that are available on Wii, and I don't mean just the Wii games. Just consider the fact that you have the Virtual Console, which is by far the best online system or service for any of these consoles, because you have so many incredibly great games available on this system. You're just a ton of really, really awesome games from previous systems, and it's just a dream. It's just pure genius to include that. I mean, how can you not like that? If I have to pick one console over everyone, I would actually have to say the Wii, because that is the best system in my mind, just in terms of what you actually get with it, and how many great games you can have on that system. I don't think anything beats the Wii, really. And it's way cheaper than any of the others. There's nothing wrong with there's nothing generally wrong with the PS3 or the Xbox. They're very good systems, really great systems. But the Wii has beaten them by far in terms of what you can play and how much fun you can have on one system. By the way, a side note here, I just wanted to point out something that's been really bothering me. The PSP. I have always kind of liked it. I mean, it has too few games and all that, but that's not really what I want to talk about. I want to talk about the new PSP Go. The PSP has had a lot of problems, and one of the biggest issues I've always had with it is the fact that it only has one joystick. And so, I really thought they would change that. Why the hell couldn't you include a second joystick? I mean, just look at it. There's clearly room for one. It wouldn't be that hard, would it? I mean, just look at it. Didn't anyone look at that and think, hey, you know what, we could probably place a joystick in that circle area where the start and select button is, and put the start and select button on top or something? I mean, that's just ridiculous. So now I'm not going to talk anymore now. I've talked for way too long already, so thank you for listening to me. I just wanted to address a few of these things, so thanks. Bye.